Well, hello. This is Meredith Burkich. I am a member of the Veridian Corporate Executive Team, and today I am really pleased on this training CD to host Setting Goals and Making Commitments, which is number 2 in the 8-step Veridian process. I have 3 of our very top performing leaders, not only in the industry, but here at Veridian with us on the phone today. And so I would like to go ahead and introduce Frank Marone, who is a Platinum Ambassador. I would like to introduce Bob Quintana, who's a Diamond Partner, and Terry Walker, who is a Partner. Again, great leaders. I'm going to let them each take just a minute to tell you a little bit about their background and what it was that attracted them to Veridian. So Frank, would you go ahead and get us started this today?
Sure. Thanks, Meredith. Appreciate you having me on the call. First of all, I really understand that this business is a commitment, and that's what we're here to talk about today, goals and commitments. I personally have had a very exciting trip with Veridian and plan on making it a lifelong commitment. I've been in the business for a little over a year now, and as you said, I am a Platinum Ambassador, which is very exciting to be at that level at this short period of time. And it's a lot of hard work, but I'm really excited to be involved with this company. I really believe in their commitment to the environment, and I believe in their commitment to help people change their lives. And that's what we're all involved for, changing people's lives.
Well, thank you, Frank, and thanks for being with us. And next up, Bob Q, Diamond Partner. Let's hear a little bit about you and where you're from.
Thanks, Meredith. Hi, everybody. My name is Bob Quintana. I'm from Millstone, New Jersey, and my background is I've been an entrepreneur since 1989. Management consulting. I ran my own management consulting firm, focusing on training and development in the sales force development area and peak performance areas for many Fortune 1000 companies, and with a significant emphasis on personal development and peak performance, really understanding that that is the core of success, and I had a long career and long affiliation with very well-known peak performance trainer and coach Anthony Robbins. I owned and operated his largest worldwide franchise, and was with Tony for almost 15 years. So it's a lot of fun to share some of these ideas with the folks on this CD.
Awesome, Bob. We are so thankful to have you on this team. And Terry Walker, partner here at Veridian, tell us about your lovely self.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me today on this call. I live up in a little corner northwest Connecticut, and my business experience has been business management for private companies over the years. And when I was shown Veridian for the first time, it got me excited. To know that I was able to come to the marketplace and help people with a value proposition and help the environment, it was something that I knew that I wanted to dig my feet into and not stop. And here I am today, and I'm so happy I made that choice.
Well, I tell you what, we are happy you made that choice, Ms. Terry. So let's go ahead and get started today. Again, we're talking about goals. We're talking about commitments. And so, Bob, we're going to start out with you. And we know we hear how important goals are all of the time, but why don't you actually tell us the reality of truly why they're important?
Thanks, Meredith. Yeah, goals are so important, everybody, because your goals and the setting of your goals are really what's going to help you become laser beam focused on your ultimate targets, on the ultimate results that you want to achieve in your Veridian business and in your life as a result of what your Veridian business can help you create. So without that target, without that ultimate laser beam focus, it's obviously going to be very, very difficult to achieve it. One of the biggest mistakes that people make around goal setting is very simply that they don't do it. It seems like such a simple thing to do, and it really doesn't take much time, and yet lots of people just overlook it or intend to get to it at some point and never really do. One of the best stories that I've heard around goal setting is around what is known as the Yale study of 1953. And the essence of that study was that they looked at the graduating class of Yale University of 1953 to identify what percentage of the graduating class had written goals and a plan for their attainment. And what they found was that 3% of the graduating class had written goals and a plan for their attainment, and the other 97% did not. And so what they did is they tracked it over a 20-year period. The researchers tracked this over a 20-year period. 20 years later, they went back to those graduates to see what the impact had been. And not only did they find that the 3% who had written goals were happier, were seemingly more fulfilled, and overall just seemed better adjusted in their lives and more fulfilled with it. But some of those are sort of qualitative results. Who's to say, who's happy, who's not? They looked at a very quantitative outcome as a result of the research. And what they found was that the 3% who had written goals had a greater cumulative net worth than the other 97% combined. So I'll say that again. So the 3% who had written goals at graduation in 1953, 20 years later, had a greater cumulative net worth than the other 97% combined. So that's just an inkling of the impact or potential impact of really taking the time to set goals. So I hope that at this point everybody's at least a little bit more excited and a little bit more inspired to set some goals as a result of what they hear on this CD.
Well, I think they should be, Bob, truly. That is a staggering statistic, and I remember that study. That certainly moved me at the time. I remember when I first read it. So hey, Frank, kind of weighing in on that subject of why writing them down. I mean, Bob's just obviously quoted an amazing, powerful study as to the results of writing them down. But really, if we were to get at the crux of it and say, why do you think that is? I mean, what do you think drives that, success rate just by simply taking a goal and putting it on a piece of paper?
Well, thanks, Meredith. I think when you write something on a piece of paper, it makes it more concrete. Just having fantasies and imagining, I want to do this. I want to get to live in a house that's twice the size of the house I am now. That's great to think about that stuff. But when you actually write it down and look at it, and you should look at your goals quite often. They're not written down on a piece of paper, so you can just write them on on your desktop and throw them into your drawer and forget about it. Focusing on what you have in front of you and looking at it makes it more, reachable. If you're writing goals down and just, imagining that, hey, I want to do this one day. That's nothing. That's like just a dream. I mean, we all have dreams, but, committing yourself to doing what you set out to get, there's a better chance of it happening. I mean, I write goals down all the time, and after I write them down, I hopefully within a reasonable amount of time can achieve them. If I don't, I'm still laser focused, like Bob said, to getting to that. That is never going to go away. My goals don't change from one day to wanting to make a certain amount of money to saying, I'm going to lower it now because I didn't do good enough. I'm one of those people that will go out and just focus, and not let anyone stop me. And that's why writing them down just makes a difference.
Yeah, I agree. And, of course, Frank, as people get to know you, they'll understand. I mean, Frank is, the top income earner, he and his partner, Joe, in the entire company. So I would say listen to the words of wisdom here, and especially from his point, because, Frank, you've been successful in business throughout your life, and I think that's a good key. So hey, Terry, we've got, we're looking at the goals. Okay, let's get them written down. So let's make it really tangible. We have our newest associate on the phone right now, and some of them are getting ready for their coaching session. They're going to be asked to write down some goals. Some have already been asked to write down their goals before they come to meet with their coach, either remotely or in person. So what do you think? You have a great growing team, very well-grounded, very productive. What do you think are the most important things that they should set down for themselves in their first 30, 60, 90 days?
Sure, and Frank, just to reiterate what he said, how important it is to write down those goals. It needs to be tangible, actually something that you could see and touch. What motivates us and creates us and gives us that gut feeling inside. Just really quickly, the very first day I started in Veridian, I was so excited and so motivated to get to work and start to do what I needed to do. I was in a car and I had to find something to write my goals down on, and the only thing I had was a cash register receipt, and it literally has the pink lines down the side because apparently it was the end of the roll, and I wrote feverishly, and I wrote my goals from that day one, and now every time I look at those pink stripes tell me I don't have that gut feeling, and that just drives me forward. So I try to give this to my new associates. I think it's so important for them to sit down, and I actually sit with them, and we talk about what they're going to do in those 30 to 60 days when they first start out. It's imperative that they write down that they're going to get their 15 customers and to put a time frame on that. We here at Veridian, if we're not attaining customers, we're not in business. So isn't that the important, crucial fact that we have to do and that make that an important goal and make it measurable? In what amount of time are we going to get those 15 customers in? You're going to write down what you expect to receive as a monthly income based on the earnings statements. I'm going to receive what rank by what time. These are measurable goals. This is your footprint. This is like getting into a car with a GPS and not putting the end destination in. You're just going to flounder and you're going to drive around. You're not going to have that goal, that end result in mind. So this is what I work with my associates, and I have them put pen to paper because something magical happens when you do that. It now gets, the actual act of it written down on a piece of paper makes a stronger impression on your mind, and then we will act from there. So keep those written goals, keep them close, rewrite them, and work from those goals.
Great advice, Terry. Thank you. And this session is about setting those goals and then making commitments. And they may sound like the same thing, but yet I think, Bob, you're going to tell us that they're not the same thing. What do you have to say?
Well, I would agree, Meredith, that they're closely related and they work very closely together, but they are different. A goal, in my opinion, is the process of determining the specific results, the specific outcomes that you're committed to create. A commitment is a vow. It's a promise. It's really, in essence, a pledge to yourself and maybe even to other people to achieve that ultimate result, that ultimate goal, to be 100% in, if you will, to achieve it. And, I like to say that, sometimes we are really the best examples of commitment when we look at some of our greatest successes in life. And so I would challenge everybody and offer everybody the opportunity right now as you're listening to this CD to think of something that you've achieved in some area of your life that you're extremely proud of achieving. And it doesn't matter whether it was something that you achieved 20 years ago or 20 minutes ago. But think of something, seriously, I would ask everyone to think of something that you've achieved in your life that you're extremely proud of. And then ask yourself and answer these questions. How focused were you on the achievement of that goal? How clear were you on its outcome? And ultimately, how committed were you? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being 100% committed, how committed were you? And my experience in asking those questions to thousands and thousands of people in many, many trainings and seminars that I've done over the years is that when people think about the goal, achieving the goals that they are most proud of in life, almost without question, time after time after time, they answer that question, how committed were you on a scale of 1 to 10? The average person says 20, 50. I was 100 on a scale of 1 to 10 when it came to commitment. You see, when people are committed, things are a must. And when things are a must, they tend to get done. The difference between commitment and non-commitment is what I say is the difference between being committed and interested. See, when people are interested in getting a result, then things don't get done. They tend to get put off. It's like people say, it's the difference between things being a must and things being an absolute, things being a should when people are interested and things being an absolute must. See, there's a lot of people out there that are saying things like, wow, I really should get in shape. I really should eat better. I really should be spending more time with my kids. I really should be, out there making more introductions and showing the program more with Veridian. I really should be putting my list together. I really should be doing all these things. But unfortunately in life, when we should do something, life takes over and it doesn't typically get done. But when we commit, when things become an absolute must, they tend to get done. And really what it boils down to, and I'll end with this, Meredith, that when people are absolutely committed, it usually, when I ask the question, what were you willing to do? And when you're 100% committed and you think back to that time that you achieved something that you're most proud of achieving in your life, what were you willing to do to ultimately achieve that goal? to achieve that outcome. And almost without exception, the answer is almost always the same, and that is I was willing to do whatever it took. I call it WIT, whatever it takes. And when your commitment is that strong and connected to the goals, to the outcomes that you've got, achieving the result is virtually guaranteed.
Very powerful words, Bob. Hey, Frank, you've been with Veridian since the beginning. Basically, you've seen a lot of people come and go in this business. The ones who have made it work, the ones who have really won and taken it, to the levels to achieve the goals and dreams that they've set for themselves. What do you think? Have you really noticed that there's a big difference between people who say yes, I have a lot of goals, and those who commit? What would you add to that?
Yeah, I think there is a big difference. First of all, the biggest goal that everyone should have should be to never quit. I mean, that is the ultimate goal. Do not quit. The other goals will come if you're hanging in long enough. If you give up on yourself, you're going to self-doubt, failure. That's all going to be part of your life. That's not acceptable. You can't have that. Even think about like years ago when you were younger. You wanted to make the football team, or you wanted to make the baseball team, or whatever. What did you do? I mean, that was your goal, but how did you commit? You think the people that made the football team didn't work out and run and exercise and do what they had to do to get on that team, or the baseball team, or any other team, or any other organization? You have to do certain things to get there, and that's the commitment level. And Bob talked about it, very, very eloquently. It's a real valuable commitment. People will always doubt what you're doing in life. You might be doing something, are you out of your mind? Why would you ever want to do that? You have to have the belief and the commitment to staying with what you're doing, and don't listen to other people, what they're saying. And without that, you're going to fail. And if you fail, it's your own fault. I mean, I really believe that in Veridian and in life, that you're your own destiny. You control everything. It's what's inside you. If you can't get it done, it's because you're not working hard enough and you didn't commit. And that's the important part of this business.
Terry, as we're listening to Bob and we're listening to Frank kind of talk about the commitments and kind of bring it home, but now what we need to do is the person's listening to this thinking, okay, all right, I got some goals. I'm gonna write them down. I'm committed. I want this. Yes, no, I'm here. I'm right alongside with you. How do we go about making that commitment now real? What are the steps that you take with your new associates to really make this something that results that they can see, feel, and measure?
Sure. It is so imperative to prioritize, and how you prioritize is making a time commitment. It's vital. Actually, as Bob said before, it's a must in achieving your goals. You must set aside time each and every day, devoted towards your business. The key that I use is to set aside a specific amount of time each day. I pull out my calendar and I put in my priorities. If you're just starting out and you're working, you have a job, you schedule that amount of time. You prioritize if you have a family priority and you just want to go out and have fun, you schedule that in. And, of course, we all need to rest and relax. It's about scheduling and making the time commitment. And then you have to commit to your Veridian time. And it's really crucial to have specific times for when you want to set those appointments, when you want to show the plan, when you want to attend meetings, when you want to follow up with prospects, or any other activity that really helps you reach those goals, as we spoke of before. If you wait until you have time, what's going to happen? If you're going to wait to make those calls, well, a week turns into a month, a month turns into a year, and you've passed the opportunity. Set time aside each and every week, like Tuesdays, Thursdays, if that works for you. If it's lunch hours, I know someone personally that has a full-time job. He has 3 children. He's a soccer coach. But what does he do? He sets 1 hour every single night to show the plan, and he is very successful. That's what you need to do. You need to schedule, you need to plan, and you need to stick to that plan.
Awesome, Terry. Thank you so much. Bob, for these new associates, we got to keep bringing it back to them because they are listening right now, and hopefully they are eager to get started and get going. I've heard you talk about the 3 H's before. Why don't you tell them a little bit about what you're looking for in new associates to know if these are going to be the people that are going to stand out and really make this happen?
Absolutely. I think that when you really think about what is most important to commit to, we're talking about commitments and goal setting, I like to call it the 3 H's. And I think if we hold ourselves to these standards, then we're going to do extremely well, not only in Veridian, but we're going to all do extremely well in life. And the first H is to be honorable. What I mean there is I'm talking about being a person of integrity, being a person who keeps your word. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. That you keep your word not only with others, but also with yourself. The second H is a commitment to stay hungry, to be clear on what your goals are, and to dream big. To really, what would you go for? What would your goals be in Veridian if you knew you absolutely could not fail? What would you go for in life? And most people say, I'd go for everything. Well, great. Then allow yourself to do that. When you set your goals, dream big, stay hungry, and do it like a little kid who doesn't have all the filters that big kids called adults unfortunately take on. So stay hungry. It doesn't matter whether your goal in Veridian is to make $200 a month or $200,000 a month, as our esteemed colleagues and leaders, Joe and Frank, are well on their way to achieving. We want to stay hungry, and then the third H is honeable. Honeable means that we stay coachable, we stay teachable, that we always realize that no one has all the answers, and we never will. We want to be a student first and a teacher second. If you're going to be great in this business of Veridian and you're going to succeed big, then you're ultimately going to become a teacher and a trainer and a coach and a mentor. But you know what? I like to say, and I've been those things for over 20 years professionally, and I like to say I'm a student by far first and a teacher and a coach and a mentor second. I have a lot more to learn than I have to offer in terms of what I've learned. And just a couple of other quick points here. Commit to being a team player in this business. That's crucial. Commit to investing in yourself. Commit to investing in your personal and professional development. Folks, I'm telling you that the greatest impact and the greatest results that you will achieve from your Veridian business will not be the things that you ultimately get, the cars, the trips, the money. I mean, we all love those things, and the opportunity to achieve those things here is enormous. But I'm here to tell you that the biggest result, the biggest reward that we'll get from building our Veridian business is who we'll become in the process, because it's going to force us to become much more of who we're capable of being. So commit to investing in yourself consistently and regularly, and ultimately commit to mastery. Commit to mastery in your life. Commit to living your life and making your life a masterpiece. I like to say that mastery takes TPP, and that stands for, as you heard Terry and Frank say, it takes time, it takes practice, and it takes persistence. TPP. So commit to mastery, commit to TPP, and it might not be easy, guys, but I guarantee you this, it'll absolutely be worth it.
I think our listeners are going to be reviewing this CD time and time again. There is so much wisdom packed in this little session. It's unbelievable. Closing words, Frank, what would you like to say to our newest Veridian associates?
Well, for the newest Veridian associates, I would have to say, like I said before, do not quit. This is a business that can give you financial freedom, and it has done it for me. It's a business that you set goals at, like I have done. My goal was to make 6 figures a month. I've achieved that at this point, and I have other goals now that are even bigger than that. Obviously, I'm looking to get that done as soon as possible. But it doesn't matter if maybe you're a person who wants $500,000 a month. Maybe you want just to do a car payment. Maybe that'll make you happy. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your goal is. Just make sure that you commit to putting the time in and the effort to achieving that goal, and never, ever quit. Never let anyone else tell you differently. Have your beliefs in what you're doing and live your life that way, and you'll be a success.
Well, thank you, Frank. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Terry, for joining us today. For our new Veridian friends, just make sure you get those goals set, make your commitments, be honorable, hungry, and honeable, and we'll talk to you on the next CD.